Secretary, thank you very much. And just let me say, Claire and Sebastian Lai and all of us are deeply grateful to you and the president for everything you tried to do to get Jimmy Lai out. Obviously, it's an ongoing concern, and I know you will continue to push for that. But I know you did everything. The ball was in Xi Jinping's court, and he unfortunately erred on the side of continued incarceration of that great human rights defender. But thank you for that. Let me say on the Iran deal, I remember sitting right here and on the floor of the House talking about how egregiously flawed the deal was 10 years ago when the Ayatollah was able to get the language dealing with ballistic missiles out of it because he said it would be stupid, his words, and then they built ballistic missiles like never before. On them never having, Iran never having a nuclear weapon, let's not forget that the agreement was in effect until October of this past year. Other nations were still a part of it, and yet they were building a capacity to create nuclear weapons and to use them. And the MAD theory does not apply to them, as we all know. Unlike Russia, Soviet Union in the past, even China, they don't want to be destroyed. With the Iranians, there's this sense of martyrdom that I think is perverse. And so they are not guided by a mutual assured destruction theory that holds both sides in check. Let me just say, too, on the Nigeria, thank you for what you've done there with not just CPC, but the most recent taking out of some of the worst terrorists who are slaughtering Christians, and the numbers continue, but I know you're engaging very, very aggressively there. On the DRC-Rwanda conflict, thank you for sanctioning some of the top people who are committing atrocities, and that just happened a couple of days ago, yesterday for sure. That shows that commitment there. And on even the Armenian-Azerbaijan, I've been working on Nagorno-Karabakh, Azerbaijan and Armenia for 30 years. They often called Nagorno-Karabakh the frozen conflict because nothing would ever happen. You guys stepped in, and the president stepped in and got a peace treaty. I mean, I've met with Aliyev in Baku on 2 occasions. He was totally unwilling to admit to the human rights abuses that he was engaging in, especially as it relates to Nagorno-Karabakh and the Armenians. You've come up with a solution. Thank you for that. And anything you want to speak to on the DRC or Rwanda or any of these issues, appreciate everything you're doing for this country. There's a full plate of horrible things happening, and we're so grateful you're at the helm. Please.
Oh, well, I just on DRC Rwanda, I would say, because just to elaborate on that a little further, as you know, we had an agreement signed and the compliance was not good in that regard. But to be fair, and I know that some other people disagree with this assessment, but we believe it's pretty accurate on the Rwandan side. And so we initiated some sanctions, targeted sanctions on Rwanda. They've come to the table. They've made some commitments. They are complying with the commitments, maybe not at the rate or speed that we'd like them to, but there's been some compliance on pulling back of troops. What we'll watch very closely, of course, is we don't want to see Rwandan troops change uniform into M23 uniforms and claim that they've pulled out. We got to watch that very carefully. And we also have to deal with the M23 issue there. But those are both DRC, Rwanda, and Sudan are 2 areas we remain very engaged in trying to find a solution to.
Representative's time has expired.